Okay, so this is an Archimonde kill. Now the pattern here with all the marks is you're going to ping pong. So green, purple is going to be range ping pong, blue skull is going to be melee ping pong, boss ping pong, and then the other ones are where people are going to run with Doomfire. So on the pool, you go into phase one. For range DPS especially, this is an important phase. It should be a quick phase. It's over by 70%. And he's going to cast Doomfire. Every time we switch sides, he'll cast Doomfire, which will fixate on one target, which will send basically a stream of fire at you. Do like that guy's doing, you run it away from the group. He has to go down. He'll also call in the Hellcaller, another ad. You DPS him down, all melee DPS him down as well, and on the same time you're back on the boss. Now, after a certain time, he's going to cast Allure Flames. It's going to basically take the Doomfire that's on it and basically pull it to the range group. At that time, once he starts casting that, we start running to the side. Now, here's the important thing in phase one. The range have to stay 8 yards apart because he's going to blow somebody up in the air and we have to catch him. So that purple stuff we just got into, that's us catching them. As soon as he does that the first time in each switch, we then stack up, go back to Doomfire, go back to the Hellcaller, same deal. So now Doomfire is fixated on me. I'm running it off to the side. It will switch fixate. So the faster you get it down, the less Doomfire is on the ground, the less fixate you have to worry about. Now, of course, I ran the wrong way, so I'm kind of trapped back here. So I'm going to kill the ad, and then he's going to cast Allure Flames. Now, the good thing about this is that I am nowhere near where the Allure Flames are going to go. They're going to go towards that range group on the right hand or left hand side there. And you watch the Allures, the Flames just go, and they actually do click on melee too, so everybody's kind of got to go. Now, I hit my defensive cooldown to go through that flame, but normally you would run around it. So again, Shadow Burst, that's Shadowfell Burst. That's when he pops them in the air. If you're within 8 yards of the person getting popped, you're going to get popped too, and you take a massive amount of damage. Again, Doomfire in phase 1. Once he kicks to 70%, he goes into phase 2. Shadowfell Burst goes away. We will no longer have to worry about that mechanic. So it's only phase 1. So the faster you get through phase 1, the better off you're going to be overall with that mechanic. Let's see if he's gone to phase 2 yet. I can't tell on the screen what he's at. He's about 70% ish. Well, at the time. There he goes, phase 2. So he transitions to phase 2. In phase 2, everybody should stack up on the boss. I was kind of a little late doing this. See the line that's coming across the screen from DBM? That's a line of fire. So you see there's an arrow coming out from the guy next to the boss pointing at another random player. And it shoots a stream of jet fire. The guy shooting at the other person, once he releases, he's good to go. The person who was being shot at then becomes a shooter, and it kind of rotates. So you see what they're doing? They're kind of going away from the group and making sure there's not an issue. Now in phase 2, we introduce chains, Unleash Torment. All right, there's 3 chained players, and you have to break these down in order. All right, then the order doesn't matter. You just don't want to break them all down at one time. The whole time, of course, the Lure Flames is still kicking in. So DBM will tell you if you're number 1, number 2, or number 3. Number 1 and number 2 generally will break at the same time, so you just run away from the chain and it'll eventually break, doing raid-wide damage. Then number 3, after about 7 or 8 seconds, will go and break theirs. Depending on your healing, you may do all 3 at one time. It just really depends on the group. But that will retain through the entire fight. So we replace the blow up you up in the air with the chains. So he'll do the chains throughout the entire fight. And it can be kind of annoying because there's a lot of stuff going on. It's really hard to see, oh crap, that's why DBM is so important as you have to do this. Now we're in phase 2 and we're getting these little ads here. Alright, these ads are little pain in the butts. They don't really do a whole lot of damage to you melee wise, but then they come around, they do this consume magic stuff. Alright, so that consume magic, you want to stay out of those little purple circles and DPS the ads. So ranged, melee, here's me breaking a chain. Range and melee, we're going to get all these ads down. The ads are the absolute most important thing. So in phase 2, you have the ads with these little circles, the other ads, the doom callers. You got the chains of fire, or the fire lines that are shooting at each other. You got the chains you got to break, and you have Allure Flames. There's a lot of stuff going on in phase number 2. Now, eventually, he pushes into phase 3. Now, phase 3 adds yet another mechanic. The ads go away, at least those ads go away, thankfully, and we have a new mechanic called Banish. Now, he's going to send a grouping of people. See that little green circle back there behind the boss? It's going to be cast on a tank, and there's going to be a group of people that are going to go with him. Usually, it's a tank, 4 DPS, and a healer. There's an ad in the Nether that basically you have to go kill as fast as possible and stay and keep from getting knocked off. Now, while the people are in there, the range group has to target those little kind of void-looking thingies coming out of the banish zone, out of the zone that it creates. Because if it gets to the person, it does a massive amount of damage. It may one-shot them depending on who they are. So you got to keep an eye on it. So there it is right there. You switch over, you do some damage. They're pretty weak. They're about 300k health roughly. Not too bad. And the whole time, the fire lines are still going, the chains are still going. The thing we lost in phase 3 was Allure Flames. So he no longer casts Allure Flames, which is nice. But he does cast this new stuff. Now, when those people come out, they will can go right back there, but the little zone's going to stay. So eventually, if you're not good enough DPS wise, you're going to run out of space. Now in phase 3, here's the second Nether banish. Phase 3, he calls down Rain of Chaos, which is calling down random rains and infernals. I'm going into the Chaos, the Nether. So here is the banish. That's the mob you have to kill. When he dies, he creates a portal that you can go into and get back out to the fight. During the fight, those little things on the side there that I'm targeting now, the Void Stars, they will fixate on a random person. If it hits that person, it knocks them off of the thing and they're dead. And you can't res them. There's no way you can get to them. So you want to kill this thing as possible. It will fixate on random players, usually to DPS. Like this one's fixated on me. Thankfully, this guy was almost dead, so I could just run him around. You can run him through those zones and then get back in. Now, demonic feedback. This is pretty much a raid-wide AoE damage. You gotta just stay a certain amount of range apart. I think it's like 5 yards. Just so you don't get hit by it. Now back to Reign of Chaos. So every once in a while he casts this Reign of Chaos in phase 3. Some of these guys become Infernals. Here's the trick with the Infernals. If they are within 15 yards of each other, they heal each other for 8% of their total health every second. So ranged hunters and things like that, they have to kite them. So basically, this is the first time in a boss fight I was ever using Distracting Shot. Now, of course, I'm out of range of them, and I'm better off just doing damage to these shadow things. But eventually, towards the end of this fight, one's going to come to me, and I'll be able to knock it down. The whole time, we still have the fire lines. We still have chains. We still have the demonic feedback. Okay, and we still have the banish. So there's another banish zone that's down now. We're in our third banish. We didn't make it to a fourth banish. You don't really want to get to 4 or 5 or 6. So he casts this Reign of Chaos. He's got another one coming in about 4 seconds. Again, the more banish zones you get, the more those little banish ads you get, and the bigger pain in the butt, the less DPS off on the Archimonde that you have. Now this is, see, I've got another Torment here. So I'm breaking first due to DBM. So I'm going and doing that. And then I'm coming back. Now I'm noticing that the boss is down to about 11 million health. Alright, now I'm also noticing there's a Infernal sitting right there. So I'm going to Distracting Shot him and get him to come after me and kite him away. Unfortunately, I don't really have enough health and time and space to kind of get him down. He's got 1 point something million health. So eventually I hit my deterrence and I feigned death. I was like, okay, he's far enough away from the rest of the Infernals, they can get that guy down. And then I noticed that the Archimonde was down to a few 100,000, so I went over there and just raced and killed him. And there's the crystallized felt. So that's the fight. Alright, the basic premise of the fight is you have 3 phases. There's a lot of stuff going on. So watch the videos that are out there. You can watch this video again. This is from a range perspective. I don't know the tank perspective. But, it's a very, very chaotic fight.